The Flash, issue 9, Joshua Williamson and Jorge Corona. Although, I'm pretty sure I recognised a few pages of Old Carmine.
And that's what I thought too, because I'm gonna be honest and upfront here. And Pete told me not to lead with the negative, but like the art, I was not a fan of this
I
this time. But as I'm going through, I was like, that looks like Gia Domenico.
Well, there was some of it that, like, I like some of the stuff that didn't look like Gia Domenico. My only complaint is that whenever it shifted, it was like, oh, it changed.
Yeah,
I didn't
I
really
thought so too.
I didn't dislike the other art. I thought it was kind of fun, but all right, you've got your negative out of the way because we're not being negative about this issue. This issue was far too
No.
good for us to be negative
Oh
about.
no, the writing of this issue and like even the cover, like as a Flash fan, this is everything I want in a Flash story.
Well, I want to say this, right? Actually, no, we'll save the ending for the end. Let's not talk about that last
Yes.
page, right?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Let's save that.
See, I didn't do that this time.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't do it this time.
Because you're notorious for doing that, Matt.
I'm very notorious for doing that, but I didn't. I've been trying to be better.
So,
But Wally West and Wally West.
yeah, well, before we even get to Wally West, so new Wally West does not know that Barry's the Flash. It's just the Flash
Right.
to him, right? That's worth
Right.
pointing out because I wasn't even aware of that. I don't think I never thought
Me
of
neither.
it.
But whatever. Like,
Yeah.
we'll go. That's status quo.
So yeah, so they're struggling to save people on a bridge or whatever, and old Wally shows up, and we get a lot of Wally to Wally, Wally to Wally conversation, and interestingly, the problem of this issue is created when they shake hands. It creates some sort of weird like thing in the Speed Force, and Barry starts freaking out. He starts like getting these like migraines and like these flashes of like other timelines. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but that one bit of Captain Cold. That is not New 52 Captain Cold.
That is not. That is the original Leonard Snart
Yeah.
with the full-on parka and Arctic glasses. And that's exciting. And it looks like he's leading the group of rogues there, right?
Yeah, there's a couple of silhouettes behind him. Yeah, we don't really see who they
Yeah.
are. But
So that's exciting. It's almost as if the Speed Force was trying to write itself.
yeah, it's trying to like make sense of things in his head. And that's when, I mean, there's a lot of good character stuff here. There's a lot of good of like the two Wallys bonding and like, you know, old Wally saying, "Oh, Barry was this for me," or he doesn't say Barry because he doesn't know he's Barry, but
No, he says the Flash.
yeah, and they kind of bond and they talk about Iris and they talk about new Wally finds out about his uncle, that he's actually his father, and he became like a Reverse Flash, you know, during the 52.
And as awkward as that was, I like that Williamson cleared it up.
Yeah, yeah,
Because when Venditti introduced this new Wally, it felt so thrown together and so like, oh, so there's like another brother we haven't met that Iris has, and this kid just shows up, and I feel like the Flash TV show handled it like the best with making him a brother to Iris, not, you know, nephew. But here they just came out and said, you know, well, no, last Reverse Flash, Daniel West is the dad, and you know, I feel again this is why Jeff Johns had picked Williamson for Flash, because he had outright said at the Rebirth panel he had handpicked him. Like, I feel he trusts him enough to do this type of stuff.
So, yeah, so Barry starts freaking out, and Wally realizes what's happening, that he's getting pulled into the Speed Force.
Yep.
So Wally pulls him back out, and if I have any complaints, maybe it's just that feels almost glossed over how quickly that happens. Like, oh, I just pulled him back out. It's fine. However,
I've done this before. I mean, people forgot who I was. I came back. I got this.
yeah,
It's nothing.
but it does lead to the two Wallys bonding a little bit, and Wally's like, okay, I'll show you how to like take the speed out of things like I can, and
Oh,
we
that's
get that,
so great too.
we get that great double page spread of the two Wallys in costume running together,
Yep.
and both of them can form their suits. So we get that panel of them, both their suits sort of like forming onto them. So that's good fun.
So good.
But the more exciting stuff about this issue is that the Speed Force was trying to correct itself, and that's why Barry was freaking out. But also, this like sort of brings back in this idea of like what's going on. You know, someone was correcting things, and it's interesting because when Wally and Barry talk at the end, after there's been bonding, like both Wally to Wally bonding and Barry, Wally bonding, and all sorts of
Yep.
bonding going on. Like Wally actually brings up some stuff about Titans. Like he actually,
Yeah.
I thought he was going to spoil the ending of the arc. But he doesn't quite, but it's touching on it
No,
almost.
but I also don't buy this as the thing, like what he throws out there.
Oh no, he even doesn't think it's true either. Like, 'cause even the way
Yeah.
he talks about it seems a bit off. But Barry's like, no, it couldn't have been him. There's something greater. There's something more powerful that's messing with the timeline. Um,
Yeah.
Kadabra can take credit for some stuff, but it doesn't add up.
So it almost makes me think, because we know that Abnett's writing Titans, and he had written the Titans Hunt, right?
Yeah,
And it almost makes me think like no one's filling him in on the greater story. So I feel like in Titans we're gonna get like full on Abracadabra saying that he's the one that is the reason for all of this.
Oh, I don't think it's a mistake. I think you're off base with that.
I don't think it's a mistake, but I just feel like the two sides aren't talking.
No,
You
no,
know?
no. I don't think that at all. I really don't.
We'll see.
I no. What I think's going on here is I think that Kadabra thinking he's done this is part of the manipulation. It's part of the. It's the
I don't
part
know,
of the
he was
whole
doing-
thing.
He was doing kids' parties before this, so if he's gonna be the patsy, you know what I mean? It wasn't until Wally West had come back he had remembered who he was. So, like, if that's a terrible part of the plan, if that's the plan, right?
Yeah, but we know it's rewriting itself. It's trying to fix it. It's trying.
Yeah, well, Speed. What's the what do you guys say? The Speed Force doesn't give a shit.
Speed Force, bro.
Is
I
that-
ain't got to explain shit. That's the. That's the thing.
That's what it is.
Nah.
So yeah,
But no, it gets them talking about rebirth, and it gets them talking about
yes, I
all this.
I did like
stuff.
that.
And it's still an ongoing thing. It's still something that they're both concerned about, and something that they're necessarily going to actually have to deal with soon.
Yes.
So, but no, it ends with a fantastic last page because Barry says, when you were lost in the Speed Force, you said you saw something right. You don't at all sound worried about that, Wally says, and then Barry says, when you and Kid Flash saved me, I had one last vision. And it was something that in the Speed Force I don't think I was supposed to see. I don't know what it was, but it filled me with hope. And it reveals what he's seen. And what he saw was Jay Garrick's helmet.
Uh,
And I'm not going to
Great.
lie, this final page made me tear up a little bit. I was
yeah. Oh man,
feeling it. I was feeling it.
I had a fist pump moment. So yeah,
It was, and it was happiness tears, not sadness tears. Happy tear.
and it should. Well, I get that, but like that's just I think our two emotional levels is you go to that and I go to the more aggressive of the two.
Yeah,
You know.
Yeah, and I like that these things are playing in because we know that at some point we're getting a JSA, and obviously for that we need Jay. Jay, of course, is a big part of Flash, big part of Flash's history. It's nice that they're bringing that in here. It feels very well thought out, which goes against everything you just said about the Kadabra stuff, which I still think fits in fairly well. Because even if it's not an intentional thing where
Yeah.
he believes he did this, I can almost buy that Kadabra's taking credit because he's a charlatan, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense. I also want to point out about the Jay Garrick helmet that it's classic Jay Garrick, not the Earth 2 that's been going on the last couple of years.
Obviously. Well, I would see if it was the Earth 2 Jay Garrick helmet that we had in the New 52. I wouldn't even recognize it. I wouldn't know what it was.
Yeah. I just want to point that out for other people because one of our friends brought this up that there's some people upset that this Jay Garrick helmet coming out doesn't match the Earth 2 because Jay Garrick's always been the Flash of Earth 2. And to that I say, I don't care about your Earth 2. It's a multiverse. There could be parallel Earth 2s for all I care. This is Jay Garrick. This is not the new, updated, cool Jay Garrick running around with Dick Grayson, Batman, and Val-Zod, Superman. Like, this is the Flash of World War II. So, and I'm
Seriously,
excited.
Anyone who doesn't know anything about Earth 2, you just confused them with all those words you just said.
Don't worry about it unless you really want to. But yeah, it wouldn't be an issue if Earth 2 still wasn't a thing. If they still have their series that's ongoing. So, But yeah, this is classic. And I had seen a headline earlier in the week before I had read this that classic, or not classic, they had said famous speedster shows up at the end of Flash. You know, it's like a clickbaity thing. And I didn't even go to Jay Garrick because I've just been so beaten down over the years by expectations. I was like, are they bringing back Max Mercury? Like, is this a Jesse Quick thing? And I was like, no, dummy, it's Occam's Razor. Of course it's Jay Garrick. So when I read the issue, but yeah.
Yeah. No, that was a great issue of Flash. It was good. It was good to finally see the two Wallies meet. It was great mystery building, and like the characters prodding at the main rebirth thing is always exciting. But it makes sense that Flash is doing it and Wally's doing it, because Wally, of course, is dead by in the middle of all this. Wally came
Yes, he
back
is.
from this, so no, it's something we're going to see them pick up a little bit more as time goes on, obviously, but.
Yep.
This was a big thing, but what I liked about this one, because they've mentioned it once or twice in a few books, but what I liked about this one is that okay, he starts talking about it and you get kind of excited, but you almost at this point temper your expectations as you're reading it, because all right, it's just a mention again. We're not dealing with any of it, but then it gives you that last page. It gives you this big, nice, exciting present. It's like no. Here we've got we're not going to get into it properly, but we have something for you. We give you this. This is something that, much like Barry himself says, it's hope. It's Jay. So
It's that carrot dangling, going, keep going.
yeah.
There's much more to this. So
No. Good. I love this week's Flash. Possibly even my favorite issue of Flash so far.
yeah, it's been very solid. Now we're returning back to new villains, which is great. Like I like that Williamson's doing that in the next arc. So
Yeah, but we're teasing Jay. We're getting a rogue arc after Christmas.
Uh-huh.
There's not lots of reasons to be happy. Lots of
yep.
them.